GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Dupuis. Tonight we'll break down CF Montreal's narrow loss to Nashville, a look at the new Android Transit Pass option, and a quick snapshot of today's moderate traffic with some construction lane closures. And a shout-out to Steve's Music Store. Over to you, Ryan.
Yesterday, Nashville SC edged CF Montreal 1-0 after Sam Surridge converted a penalty in MLS action.
The match concluded with CF Montreal failing to score, while Nashville secured a solitary goal via that penalty.
This result leaves CF Montreal with 0 points from the game and maintains Nashville's unbeaten streak this season.
All right, let's get into it. Top headlines for today including community updates and national news. Good morning, Montreal. CF Montreal returned home yesterday after a narrow loss on the road in Nashville. The Major League Soccer regular season match at Geodis Park ended 1-0 in favor of Nashville SC, the deciding goal coming from a penalty kick in the second half. Montreal's attackers pressed early, but were unable to break the solid Nashville defense, and a handball in the box gave the visitors a clear chance to convert. The penalty was calmly slotted, leaving the Canadians without a reply as the clock wound down. The defeat drops Montreal's point total further behind the league leaders and adds pressure as the season reaches its midway point. Coach Wilfried Nancy praised his squad's effort, but noted the need to tighten discipline ahead of the next fixture. Fans in Nashville cheered the decisive strike, while those watching in Montreal expressed disappointment. The club will regroup hosting Toronto FC this weekend.
Dedmon is set to make his first appearance in a Montreal Alouettes jersey when the team faces the Hamilton Tiger Cats tomorrow at Percival Molson Memorial Stadium. The veteran receiver, who spent the previous season on the practice roster, rejoined the squad earlier this week and will line up on offense for the first time since his CFL debut 3 years ago. Alouettes coach Jason Maas said Dedmon brings depth and a reliable target for quarterback Trevor Harris as the club looks to improve its standing in the league. Hamilton, coming off a strong home win for the Alouettes, will pose a tough test, but the home crowd can expect a lively atmosphere as the Alouettes aim to secure a win. Ticket holders will see the debut under the lights on Sunday.
16 caribou calves were born this year in a Quebec captivity program, experts confirmed. The births mark the latest success of a breeding effort that has become essential after the province has failed to restore sufficient natural habitat for the species. Officials said the calves are part of a managed herd kept at a research facility, where they will remain until suitable release sites become available. Conservation scientists warned that, without expanded forest and wetland restoration, the animals will continue to depend on artificial environments. The program, funded by provincial wildlife agencies, aims to maintain genetic diversity while waiting for habitat projects to move forward. Researchers hope the new cohort will bolster future reintroduction plans, but stressed that lasting recovery hinges on restoring the ecosystems that originally supported wild caribou populations.
Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada reports a dramatic contraction in asylum filings across Quebec for the first 5 months of this year. The data cover the period from January through May, showing the sharpest slide since the province began tracking applications in the early 2020s. Compared with the same period last year, applications have fallen 57%, and they are down 75% from the comparable window in 2024. The agency attributes the trend to a combination of tighter border controls and increased processing efficiencies, though officials declined to elaborate on specific policy shifts. The decline marks the steepest year-over-year drop recorded in recent data, raising questions about future intake levels and the province's capacity to meet its humanitarian commitments. IRCC said the numbers reflect a continuing downward trajectory that began in earlier months, and the department will monitor the situation as it evolves.
Police are treating a recent incident in Verdun as a hate crime after a suspicious package was discovered outside the neighborhood's Islamic Center on Tuesday. Officers from the SBVM arrived following a report from center staff, secured the area, and began a forensic examination of the device. The investigation, now underway, includes interviews with witnesses and a review of surveillance footage. Montreal police have said incidents targeting religious sites have been a growing concern, prompting dedicated units to respond swiftly and to step up patrols around places of worship citywide. No injuries were reported, and the center was temporarily closed while authorities completed their safety sweep. The suspect remains unidentified, and investigators are urging anyone with relevant information to come forward. This case follows two other reported threats against faith communities earlier this year. Coming up, we'll see how Android phones are now holding your Montreal transit passes, making travel easier for commuters. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. Here, what's happening across the city. Ryan, take us through the local stories and what you need to know before you head out.
Yesterday, the Transit Authority announced that Android smartphones can now store Opus passes, letting riders tap their phones instead of pulling out a plastic card. The new feature works across the greater Montreal area, syncing with the same fare system commuters have used for years. Riders simply download the official app, add their existing pass, and tap the phone at any turnstile just like before. The change aims to reduce the hassle of carrying a separate card and to speed up boarding during rush hour. Early users report that the phone's NFC works reliably, and the system updates balances in real time. The option is available now for all Android devices running the latest operating system, and the transit agency says it will keep supporting physical cards for those who prefer them.
Canada's men's national soccer team will host two South American friends this fall, giving local fans a chance to see world-class play up close. The first friendly against Chile is set for September 26 in Toronto, followed by a match with Peru on October 3 in Montreal. Both games are part of the Federation's international program aimed at sharpening the squad ahead of upcoming tournaments. Montreal Stade will open its doors to thousands of supporters, offering a rare opportunity to watch Peru's dynamic attack on home soil. Ticket sales are expected to rise as families and soccer enthusiasts look for a weekend outing. The schedule adds to a busy summer of sport across the province, and the national team hopes the experience will boost performance as the calendar moves toward next year's qualifiers.
A possible tornado struck the Laurentians region of Quebec on July 22, leaving extensive damage across the mountainous area. Environment Canada confirmed that the severe storm met criteria for a tornado and launched an investigation into the event. The agency's senior meteorologist, Dominic Martel, said the damage pattern and wind measurements are consistent with a tornado's impact. Officials are assessing structural damage to homes, roads, and forested terrain, and will release a detailed report once the investigation is complete. The Laurentians, a region known for monitoring severe weather, experienced one of the most significant wind events in recent years. Residents are being advised to remain cautious as cleanup and safety inspections proceed. Aerial surveys and ground teams are examining the affected valleys and ski resorts for structural integrity. Emergency services have been deployed to assist displaced families and to secure power lines.
The Transportation Safety Board of Canada released its findings on the freight train derailment that occurred in northern Quebec last winter. Investigators said the board was still unable to pinpoint a definitive cause, noting that extreme temperature fluctuations in the region may have played a role. The train left the tracks in December 2025, spilling several railcars and prompting a multi-agency response. While the board confirmed that no mechanical failure or human error had been conclusively identified, it kept all lines of inquiry open. Officials emphasized that the lack of a clear cause means safety recommendations will be delayed until further evidence emerges. Residents who live near the rail corridor were reminded that the line remains closed for cleanup and that service disruptions may continue while investigators complete their work.
Yesterday, violent thunderstorms rolled across the province, leaving more than 58,000 homes without power. In Laval alone, the outage touched over 40,000 households, plunging entire neighborhoods into darkness. Utility crews have been working through the night to restore service, but officials warn that full recovery may take several days as crews assess storm damage to lines and transformers. Residents reported flickering lights and sudden blackouts as the storms intensified on July 21st, and many are still waiting for generators or alternative heating as temperatures rise. The province's emergency management office said the severe weather caused widespread tree fall and infrastructure failure, compounding the scale of the outage. Authorities continue to prioritize critical facilities such as hospitals and water treatment plants while they coordinate repairs. Local businesses reported lost sales, and many commuters faced delayed departures as traffic lights went dark.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our meteorologist today. A high-pressure ridge, reinforced by a southwest jet, is throttling moisture and keeping Montreal dry today. On this date, the all-time high reached 30.9 degrees in 2022, when a lingering heat dome pushed temperatures well above the July norm. The record low fell to 14.6 degrees in 2025, a rare Arctic surge that knocked out the usual summer warmth. By contrast, the climatological average for July 22nd sits around 22 degrees high and 14 degrees low. Those extremes remind us how the same jet stream pattern can swing from scorching to biting within a few years. On the radar screen, the echoes are blank across southern Quebec, with no rain bands in sight. A weak trailing cold front has already slipped east of the St. Lawrence, leaving a dry air mass anchored under the high-pressure ridge. The southwest jet, cruising at 101 kilometers per hour, will steer any stray moisture well north of the city. Expect the map to stay clear through the afternoon. At 7 a.m., Montreal wakes under a building high-pressure system that is rising, sealing in dry air and suppressing cloud development. The sky is mainly clear, temperature 12 degrees, humidity 72%, and a gentle west wind at 9 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 22. As the sun climbs, the southwest jet at 101 kilometers per hour drives warm advection, pushing temperatures toward 21 by 9, then climbing to 24 in the mid-afternoon. The UV index will sit at 6, while gusts peak at 48 kilometers per hour from the southwest, feeling brisk on exposed faces. No precipitation is forecast, and there are no active alerts. By evening, the high will retreat to 23 degrees under a clear sky, setting the stage for tomorrow's warmer stretch. Thursday opens with a high of 24 degrees and a low of 11, sky clear from dawn to dusk. Friday nudges the high to 27 while the low climbs to 14. The southwest jet remains aloft, keeping the air dry and sunny. Saturday introduces a slight shift as the ridge weakens, allowing an upper-level trough to bring cloud cover and a high of 29 with a low of 18. Sunday's pattern flips again, with a modest warm front delivering partly cloudy skies, a high of 27, a low of 19, and a 25% chance of rain in the evening. Monday continues the moist trend, overcast through the day, high 27, low 20, and a 35% rain probability as the jet stream slides northward. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Later we'll cover today's traffic lane closures, preview the chamber spotlight on Steve's Music Store, and preview sports season. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Northbound traffic in the Louis-Hippolyte-Lafontaine Tunnel is halted, with southbound running in contraflow and clearance reduced to 4.3 meters, so trucks over that height must detour. Eastbound on the Bonaventure Expressway near the Victoria Bridge faces a single lane closure, adding a few minutes. Westbound on the Claimant Bridge is down to one lane. On Daiquiri Expressway, the southbound lane between the interchange and Jean Talon Street is closed, detouring via Daiquiri Boulevard. Two southbound lanes between Gouin and Henry Bourassa Boulevards are shut, slowing flow there. The service road between Rue Tellier and Rue Notre Dame lost a lane but remains steady. Highway 520 overpass has reduced lane width and a diversion with no major backups yet. Transit impact. The Jacques Cartier Bridge is closed to vehicles for the July 23rd fireworks, so commuters should use the Champlain or Victoria crossings. Overall traffic is moderate. Most other routes are clear, though lingering slowdowns may linger into the afternoon.
The calendar is quiet today. We'll be back with fresh events tomorrow. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Tough night on the pitch for Montreal, and hockey dates are locked in. CF Montreal came up empty at home against Nashville SC, falling 1-0 in MLS action. The only goal of the match came from the penalty spot, Sam Surridge converting for Nashville to seal the result. According to Sportsnet, that single strike was all Nashville needed to take the 3 points. Mark your calendar, Habs fans. The Montreal Canadiens will open the 2026 to 2027 NHL season on the road against the Toronto Maple Leafs on September 29th. CBC Sports reports it is part of an all-Canadian opening night that also features Edmonton hosting Vancouver. A chapter has closed in Montreal. The Canadiens have traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. CBC Sports reported the deal, marking the end of Gallagher's run with the organization where he spent the bulk of his NHL career.
Steve's Music Store on St. Laurent in downtown Montreal has been the go-to spot for guitars, violins, and every instrument for 62 years. Now the family is closing its doors and will auction the remaining inventory in 2 online sessions on July 22nd and July 23rd. Musicians of all ages will have a chance to own a piece of the shop that taught countless locals their first chord. The sale isn't just about clearing stock, it's a final encore for a place that helped shape neighborhood's vibrant art scene. Montreal's soundscape will feel the loss, but the memories of every riff and rehearsal echo on. For many, Steve's was first place they ever picked up a guitar, a reminder that city's rhythm starts in family-run shops. And tune in for a look at 16 newborn caribou calves born in Quebec captivity, a true celebration of life.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
On a Saturday morning on Rue St. Laurent, near the market of Atwater, neighbors gathered around a wooden table outside the community center. The scent of fresh coffee mingled with warm croissants as a local baker handed out pastries to anyone who stopped by. They were there to discuss a recent controversy that had rippled through the Gouin riding, the Liberal Party's decision to withdraw a candidate after his social media posts compared the Parti Québécois to Nazis. What began as a heated online debate turned into a calm, face-to-face conversation. Residents shared stories of how political rhetoric can hurt, and a young teacher named Amelie stepped forward, offering to volunteer as a listening ear for anyone who felt unheard. Within an hour, the group organized a community pledge to promote respectful dialogue, and the party announced a new, locally rooted candidate, a longtime volunteer who has spent years helping newcomers settle in the neighborhood. When the pledge was signed, a quiet sense of relief spread through the crowd, a reminder that even missteps can lead to stronger, more inclusive leadership. Montreal moves forward together, one step at a time.
On a crisp Saturday morning on St. Laurent Boulevard, the aroma of freshly baked baguettes drifted from a corner bakery as a small crowd gathered outside the historic St. Joseph's Church. Among them were longtime residents, Marcel, a retired teacher, his teenage granddaughter Leia, and a group of volunteers from the local food bank, who had just seen the latest poll results glowing on a digital billboard. A decisive majority of Quebecers say they prefer staying united with Canada. A street musician in a bright waistcoat coaxed a warm accordion melody that mingled with the chatter of neighbors sharing coffee and croissants. Children chased bubbles near the park bench, while an elderly couple waved a hand-stitched flag that read together. The moment sparked a spontaneous toast, each person raising a steaming mug to the idea that shared values can outshine any debate. As the sun slipped behind the old stone facade, the community lingered, planning a neighborhood garden that would bloom regardless of politics. In moments like these, the heart of Montreal beats strongest when we choose togetherness over division.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us this evening. Tonight's glimpse into the tornado-touched Laurentians reminded us how quickly nature can reshape our landscape. Stay tuned tomorrow for more stories that matter to our city and province. Until then, stay safe and keep the conversation going.